Thank you for staying with us. The ongoing Presidential Election Petition Tribunal is as testy for Nigeria as the poll itself. The national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, has urged members of the party and indeed Nigerians to prepare for a presidential rerun. Abure said he has been informed that the All Progressive Congress, APC-led government, is also getting set for a run. The Labour Party chairman said the party is hopeful that if the matter gets to the Supreme Court, the apex court will also act in their favor. Julius Abure, when I read this report, so I had to go back again. You know, maybe my memory did not serve me well, so I have to go back again to the results. I was showing a friend just 10 minutes ago, the graphics and everything. I don't know what inspired or what is propelling his optimism and where he got his intel from that, oh, we are still at the appeal level now. It has not even gotten to the Supreme Court. But ultimately, he's telling people that, look, especially the obedient, that we should be gearing up for a possible rerun. What might be the worst case scenario? 180 days is almost gone, so we expect the appeal to actually, any moment from now, give their verdict, and let's say it is appealed at the Supreme Court, another 60 days. So we'll get to know who actually won the February 25th presidential election. But Abure is telling that from all what he can get from the All Progressive Congress, I don't know how he got his feelers.
Well, it's equal to place Julius Abure as an individual. He's a man speaking from both sides of his small mouth. He said they are confident that the court will declare Peter Obi the winner. In the same breath, in another breath, he's saying, oh, APC is getting ready for a rerun. Therefore, let us mobilize our people to prepare for a rerun so that they can humiliate the APC once again. You know what I see that is going on? It's just mind games. Jose Mourinho, the man who brought Chelsea from the brink, from the cesspit of soccer history, and won the league in England for them back to back after more than 50 years. He's a man that the whole world knows likes to play mind games. Abure is the political version of Jose Mourinho when it comes to playing mind games. They are trying to shoehorn the Supreme Court, the appeal court, that they also call Presidential Election Petition Court. That is, calling them by that name is even new. It's always appeal court. We know it's appeal court. You know, I tried to shoehorn the appeal court to give a verdict that favors them. And the court has warned that political parties should be wary of what they are saying. You come to court after a sitting and it rains, and a lawyer stands before people and says, oh, showers of blessings. It portends a good omen. It means we are going to win this court and win this case. You are going to win on the strength of the evidence that you bring before the court, not on the basis of, say, rain fell. How many times does it rain in a day? Huh? If you must interpret what's going to happen in court using the weather as the fulcrum of your argument, I don't know how I can explain what you are doing. This, in my view, is just an attempt to get into the heads of those judges. And those judges have warned there's a limit to which you can even rationalize what's going on in the court, talk about what's going on in the court. Because judges don't want a situation in which you are trying to influence them and preempt their decision. You've had your day in court. Leave the court to decide the way it pleases. When you go before a court of law, you are depositing your confidence in it before it. So you don't have to say things that suggest that you are trying to twist
the outcome.
Yeah. Remember what the man who couldn't win his polling unit in Zaria too did the other day, threatening judges. If you try to swear in someone, the man they succeeded in swearing that man and nothing happened. No be not today. No be today now. So let's do what is right. I don't know where this optimism comes from. It will actually be a first in our country if what Abure is saying will happen, to move from third position in the presidential election, to move from third position, because I know people will argue that something like that happened in Imo, where someone came from fourth position to become number one. But in a presidential election petition, we've never had a situation in which somebody moved from third position to number one. It will be really, really novel. I'm not preempting what the court will do, but it will be really, really surreal for that to happen. But at this stage, we can't say, oh, it can't happen, this and that. We are saying that it has never happened before. We don't know what the judges will do. And I want to believe that party leaders, whether they are in APC or PDP or Labour, as represented by Abure, should allow the court to decide. Don't place options in front, because this is what I see happening. Oh, in one breath you said you are confident that you won the election, you are confident that based on the facts that you presented before the court, that you are confident that they will declare your candidate winner. In another breath you said you are talking about Rerun, and you are telling Nigerians to prepare for Rerun.
So today, how do you now decide if in the worst case scenario there's a Rerun? I checked the figures, 12 states, all the candidates, and the figures, 8 million, 6.9 million, and 6.1 million. And how do you now say, look,
well, I think
the runner-up and the first position?
I think, like he said, it has never happened anywhere in the world where you will be a judge in your own case. It is not logical. When you surrender yourself, the moment you appear before a panel of judges, you have surrendered all your evidences before them, and you allow them to hear from both sides and make up their mind as to who is right or wrong. As to the issue of coming from behind, what it means is that they are also calling for the cancellation of the law. They don't have any confidence in the law. Because if that one is the case, then all the 7 senators that won on the platform of the Labour Party, on that very day on which the presidential election held, they will lose their seat. Most of the House of Representatives, because it means there is no confidence. If they should cancel that election, it means there is no confidence in the process. They have produced senators for AP, House of Rep, and some other things. And it also means that all the states that you have claimed to have won, besides all the 5 statistics, because they are not contesting that this is the first period in the history of Nigeria since 1960 where a party will score 93% in some states. Even during Awolowo and Balewa, they didn't score more than 82%. So they scored 93% in Imo, Anambra, all these states. So you don't touch that. But what it means is that they're just playing my game. And secondly, like he said, I believe that they are just trying to stampede and blackmail, because I'm very sorry to use that word, but that is what it means. Blackmail the judiciary, where you have not allowed them to listen patiently and arrive at their own conclusion. Because the moment you surrender yourself to appear in court, in Osun State, the man that was allegedly charged before the court for killing his guest in the hotel, he refused to surrender himself before the panel of judges, and he got a death conviction. So, LP, because you cannot be on the street and be in the court at the same time, they should have refuse to appear before the panel and make up their mind how their man will become the president, rather than stipending the judges and trying to create a scenario in which you think that if the judges refuse to pronounce the judgment as per your own contention, then there will be confusion. It is unfortunate that Nigerian politicians were not patient with democratic principles. And these are the reasons why unfortunately, we have coups in Africa. When characters who campaigned during election, who presented themselves before the people, are beginning to say that they have no confidence in that particular thing, and they are not calling for chaos. How that one will happen, it is beyond logic what the FP people are doing. One would have expected that after they deliver the judgment, let them appeal to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, rather than threatening those people who hold the pen and the biro. Remember that the two cases that happened at the Court of at the Abuja, the man that was asked to go and pay 40 million naira for the president, then it was, and remember the judge, the Federal High Court judge said that the name of the man should be recommended for the bench for disciplinary action for wasting the time of the judiciary. So I think our position should be, try to be matured. I would not have been surprised if the man who made what Abure made is somebody who just left secondary school or who just left the university, who is naive about the processes of the law. They should allow the law to take its natural course. And anybody who is not satisfied should not go to the court. If you are not satisfied with what they are going to do, don't go to court.
If you will not surrender yourself to their decision, there's no reason to go to the court. You see, a rerun in this case, the court can say, okay, in some places we found evidence that elections were not conducted in strict compliance in substantial compliance with the Electoral Act. They can order a run in those places. But I don't know the kind of rerun he's talking about. Maybe he's thinking about the wholesale election.
Yes.
Yes,
that's what it's saying.
That's what I said.
Does he know what it costs to mobilize for a presidential election?
So that will be the consequence.
At this time, we have that kind of money.
And all the senators and House of Rep members too.
All the elections held that day.
On that particular day.
The presidential.
Yes, if you are counseling, that means
the presidential, because they were held on the side, under the
same equipment, the same personnel conducted those elections. You know, the only difference is they use IREF in the National Assembly elections, and suddenly they experienced a glitch. We don't know who caused the glitch. At the end of the day, they could not post those results on the IRF. But the law, just as we have had in the way the Supreme Court decided the Osun matter,
yes,
the law does not prescribe that you must post it real time. That's what happened in Osun. The Supreme Court affirmed that the law does not mandate you to post the result on IRF in real time. So the complaint, the major complaint is, oh, they didn't put it on IRF, they didn't put it on IRF. But is that enough? Is that enough to then say, okay, you are cancelling an election? The primary evidence is the Form EC8A. Those results are still available. They may not have been posted on IREF immediately, but those results are still available. And that is the primary, it's still those results that you post on IREF anyway. So the law does not discountenance an election on the basis of not posting on IREF.
Okay, let's look at the worst case scenario now. Those allegations they made against the qualification and everything of the president.
Yes.
If they are soliciting that the president should be excluded from the entire run, how do you see that work?
I'm not, you know, as I said, I don't want them to take me to where I don't know. Because that is what
Abure.
Yes, Abure is trying to take us to where we don't know. It is clear that we cannot analyze what the court will do. But I know that in the course of this trial, they concentrated more on Shettima not giving up his senatorial ticket on time, which had been decided by the Supreme Court even before, before the May 29 election. It was decided on May 28. They concentrated on that. They concentrated, Tinubu involved in drugs. He forfeited money. They concentrated on the issue of his certificate, FCT, and all that. Whether the judges, I know that Tinubu has presented evidence to show that he was never convicted by any court in the U.S. He still goes to U.S. when he likes. You can't break their law and run away and still be going into their country. If they suspect that you are involved in drug and they have cast iron evidence, they will do to you what they did to Manuel Noriega, a whole president. American Marines went to arrest him. He ran into the Vatican. They still went and got him and put him on trial in their country, a whole president. So Tinubu was just a student in their country. He's not even a president. So their society would not permit you to trample on their law, remain there, and even be going there when you like. The American, so he has shown his passport, showed evidence that he still continues to go there, that there is no conviction, and is not being, is not wanted to face trial of any kind in America. His lawyers have presented that. They presented his academic records because we had them saying that he actually used the female gender, you know, that he used a woman's name to gain admission. I don't know where that came from. Maybe they were using a forged document. But we've seen even his own school have acknowledged that, okay, this person passed through our school and graduated with honors. Those documents have been tendered in court. We don't know how the judges are going to determine, but we know that he has responded to those allegations. He didn't have to engage them on in the media, but he has responded to those allegations with the documents at his disposal, and the judges will decide. They will decide again on Shettima's matter. They will decide the second time. The Supreme Court has decided they will decide on that. They will decide on IREV, despite the fact that the Supreme Court decided on IREV in the Osun matter, IREV and Beavers. They are still going to decide on that. So I'm eagerly waiting, just like any other Nigerian, I'm eagerly waiting for the outcome of, the court matter before the appeal court. And after that, then the Supreme Court.
Yes.
We know it will still get to Supreme Court. Yeah, it's after Supreme Court that we can even talk about a rerun or whatever.
Yes.
Not because this is not a final court.
No, it's not. It's not. This will be the first time that election tribunal will be generating this kind of attention from across the world.
Well, it is because there's desperation on many fronts. But don't forget the fact that a particular region of the country felt that either their candidate emerge victorious or not, it is their right, absolutely, to be allowed to become president. But people forget the fact that election is a game of numbers. You can only win an election based on the number of people that you can get to your side. You cannot conjure up images. And for you to be able to win election in a diverse country, Nigeria, you have to convince other stakeholders in Nigeria that you can be trusted with power. So that is why the thing is generating so much heat. And some people have this self-entitlement that it is either they emerge victorious or Nigeria will not be. But the thing is that people have to know that Nigeria will continue to be. It is those people who don't want Nigeria to be that will go under. But I am very sure that at the end of the day, you know, some people went to the street of Abuja 2 weeks before they were swearing that somebody must die and somebody will not become president. There are many so-called God of men who are using pulpit to declare, to swear, to do a lot of things. They think God is foolish. But God used the foolish things of the world to confound us. And I think if they are not yet confounded, by the time we get to the Supreme Court, then we will know what happens. But people should not unnecessarily heat up Nigeria, as if they don't rule Nigeria, Nigeria will not exist. It is not good.
Okay. For any society to progress, good behavior